Now, before we get into the video for today, I have to tell you about Sakurako. Over the past months, they have been sending me these snack boxes for me to try out and review. Honestly, to say they've been the highlight of the month wouldn't be too far of a stretch. Between my busy work life and Genshin grind, being able to relax, turn on a show while munching down some authentic traditional Japanese snacks is something that has become worthy of looking forward to. This month we have, of course, the New Year's themed box full of goodies from the Niigata Prefecture. Inside the box are authentic Japanese snacks that are made locally in Japan, and the highlight for this box has to have been the strawberry crepe and the rabbit hozui. The tea this month is a nice hojicha blend which matched perfectly with the snacks provided, and as always, you get a trinket along with each snack box provided from Sakurako, and it seems this time I gotcha'd a sake cup. All in all, the snack box is to offer you a glimpse into the rich culture of Japanese snacks, so if you are feeling adventurous, you can use my link down in the comments as well as in the description box for a discount to get started with Sakurako. Thank you again to them for sponsoring this video. Sup everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we have a viewer's account here, and I'm gonna just go through this account and share with you guys my process on how I evaluate accounts and how I continue building certain accounts. This account is by no means an insane account. It's a very good account. It's a specialized account. So the owner of this account is a Geo enthusiast, and they are an Ito lover. They love this character, and in fact, this is a welcome player. Let me preface that it's not a Giga Whale, because you might be misled if you look at this man's Ito and think immediately, oh, I can never beat someone like this is a whale account. But no, they're a Welkin and BP player, and they've chosen to, oh, I can't even show you guys here. Let's go back out. They invested into Ito essentially all the way. Okay, they have a C6 Ito. Now if you sit here and be like, well, you know, that's irrelevant to me, I'll never be that. I mean, yeah, as a free-to-play player, like a pure free-to-play player, I don't think a C6 character really is ideal for you. It kind of limits your options, right? Let's say it doesn't even matter if you have a C6 Ito. If you have anything in the Abyss that is immune to Geo, suddenly your your C6 Ito doesn't do anything, right? So it's not really a good idea. But I'm just letting you guys know that we're going to be going over this account, and yes, they do have a C6 Ito. They've played this game since March 2021, and they've only bought Welkin and BP. I did some calculation here, and roughly from the Welkin Moon, they've saved up about 400 summons over the span of 22 months, right? So if that's not you, that's fine. But we are going to be talking about vertical progression and the possibility of investing into certain constellations for certain characters. So hopefully you can use this video as a general basis on what and how you should approach developing your own accounts, especially with the amount of people who's been asking me for account advice. I think this is the best way to go, using a viewer's account as an example, because this is probably much closer or akin to what you currently are working with. All right. So just to prove to you guys, this account started on March 23rd of 2021. So this player hasn't even played for 2 years yet. They did not start playing this game from the beginning, so they're about 6 months behind compared to people who started in patch 1.0. And as you can quickly glance over all these characters, you'll see they've picked up quite a roster of units. All right, let's just start here on this page. If you are on your own account, if you have the luxury, you can pull up this page as well for yourself, and you can start going along with me, because I'm going to be highlighting some key things you need to start identifying when you're on this page. This is the easiest way to do it. It is by scrolling down really quickly and seeing the elements of the characters that you have, okay? The thing with elements is that depending on what key elements you have and what you're working with, you can kind of work certain team comps and metas or strategies, generalized strategies around what elements you have. Of course, subcategories of characters are very important as well, but we're not going to talk about that. So we got some Dendro here. Not gonna lie, we have an overabundance of Geo characters. Just seeing Albedo should already tell you enough that, you know, maybe you can actually focus on a Geo-centric team. Not to mention they also have Zhongli here. But besides that, we're not gonna really focus on Geo because, like I said, this is a C6 E2 account. So let's look at some of the other characters. Now, this account is incredibly blessed when it comes to 5-star characters. You might not have something like this, right? There's a chance you might have a Yelan sitting around here. You might have Nahida if you are somebody who went super hard in the Dendro space, like then in that case, right, like so you have Yelan, you have Nahida, and then you also maybe have Nilu, maybe not. If you picked up, let's say, Scaramouche, Sino, that should give you a general idea. Okay, Electro, Dendro, maybe that's the general direction you're gonna push yourself towards. But the second I see key figures in the game such as Raiden Shogun, Kazuha, Ganyu, this starts opening possibilities to some pretty powerful elemental teams. When it comes to Ganyu teams, I see they don't have Nahida, so Ganyu can't really play her best in slot reverse melt, EM reverse melt team being with Nahida. But I do see Raiden Shogun, I do see Kujosara, I do see Kazuha, and then obviously I'm pretty sure they have Bennett, so they do. A possible Raiden hypercarry team is looming. They don't have Hu Tao, I believe, right? So if you notice, like, they don't have pieces of such as Hu Tao who demands a Xingqiu. At the same time, they don't have Yelan, but they do have Raiden Shogun. So, and they have Xingqiu, of course, right? So now, once you kind of got these pieces fixed and knowing what's coming up on the horizon, so Hu Tao is coming on the horizon, they have Zhongli, they have Xingqiu, they don't have Yelan, so it's between Hu Tao, Yelan, right? They also don't have a lot of Dendro characters, so Alhaitham is coming very soon, but do they have key components to work with Alhaitham? I'm thinking maybe Kuki Shinobu is going to play another key role, being an Electro healer, as well as Yao Yao coming, being a Dendro healer. What kind of direction should this account go towards? But because they don't have Nahida, they likely can't play certain best in slot compositions with Alhaitham, but is that still worth getting even though they already have Tignari? You see, this is where things get very complicated for people, right? You have all these options like, oh, but I have Tignari, do I need Alhaitham, but I don't have Nahida? Things start getting complicated. So we're going to start sifting this out, making it much clearer for you how you can develop this account further. All right. Like I said, we're not going to focus too hard on the Ito stuff. You guys know level 90, you know, E2 enthusiast, R1 Stone Thresher with a C6, and I'm sure their other Geo characters are just as built and invested because they love Ito, right? If you're getting C6 Ito, there's no reason not to invest your other characters. So knowing you have a Zhongli, Kazuha also built up. So these are some of the top units they've built up. We have Ganyu, we have Raiden Shogun, we have Jin, we have Kazuha, and even the Keqing, right? The MC, very smart choice to build up the NC event. This character ages like wine. The longer the game goes on, the better this character is just going to become, because it becomes such a high value character with all the elements accessible to it at a given notice. It's just insane. Mona is built, so I want to keep going behind and see what up to what point. Okay, so it's roughly up to Xiangling. Okay, so post Xiangling, they haven't built any characters. So these, so you see, it's the same with you. Just look at what characters you have built and then draw a line there, and these are the characters you have working with. And I am so happy to see Kuki Shinobu included in one of the characters. Kuki Shinobu, when she first came out, was not that useful of a character. I mean, she was good, but because Dendro at the time wasn't out, so it was very difficult to flesh out her usefulness. An Electro healer at the time just wasn't as important. Now, she isn't the best healer in the game, but because of her hybrid application usage for Electro, as well as being able to heal, I mean, when it comes to damage, it's not like she does no damage. She does a decent amount. I think she's a pretty high value character for people who want to invest into Dendro compositions. She'll make your life a lot easier when you're composing certain Dendro-centric teams, but that's beside the point. I'm not saying you can't build it without Kuki Shinobu, but then you're going to need some other key components, which this account doesn't seem to have as well. So now, on your account, have you identified at least one character that you think you can build compositions around? So for this account, it's Raiden Shogun, right? Seeing a Raiden Shogun, you want to see what their Raiden Shogun is working with. Are they working with okay, they have Engulfing Lightning, which is a pretty good damage boost over the catch generally. Not an insane amount, but I think like 10-15% compared to an R5 catch. Now, my next question is, what kind of team comps is Raiden Shogun being focused around? Now, I'm looking behind here. They have Xingqiu at C6, but you see, they have not built Xingqiu. If this is an account progression video, I think it's very easy to tell what's the next piece that they should start working on, right? They have Bennett built, they have Xiangling built, they have a C0 Raiden with Engulfing Lightning. It's almost a no-brainer to say, build up your Xingqiu. And Xingqiu's artifacts is the same as Raiden's. Yes, it's the Emblem 4-piece set. You can run the Emblem 4-piece, or you can run the 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece the Hydro set, the one that gives Hydro damage, or you can do the 2-piece Emblem and 2-piece Noblesse. Xingqiu becomes very flexible, especially when you have him fully built up. There's a lot of things you can work around depending on what your substats on artifacts are. You can prioritize different stats. In this case, I would just say build the 4-piece Emblem set. It's gonna save you a lot of trouble and time. This account, I think immediately, the two characters that jump out at me would be Kujo-Sara. I mean, eventually they're gonna get this character to C6. Likely next couple of patches, maybe, if she makes another rerun. I would really say to focus on Xingqiu right now and maybe Fischl, alright? Because you do already have Tighnari and you have Kuki built up. I can see why Fischl is not built up as well, because you don't have a very strong off-field Hydro presence. I don't believe they have Kokomi either. Right? See, they don't have Hydro support DPS or applicators. That's why I'm guessing their Tighnari isn't built either. Yeah, see, their Tighnari isn't built. So immediately it makes sense because they likely got spoofed by Tighnari. There's a very high chance that they were pulling some character and Tighnari just came home. I think it's very important to take advantage of the Dendro space, because you're just gonna come to a point where, well, what if there are just situations where your Geo team is kind of locked out of? It's very rare, but it can happen. Well, now they have some Ganyu team. Now they have Raiden Shogun teams, like an off meta, maybe Raiden team can work, but it just makes your life a lot more difficult. I certainly do think that Bennett and Xiangling are great assets to have, and it's all built up. I see Yanfei is also built up depending on what constellations. Okay, C6 Yanfei, this is also a very powerful asset, but having Kuki Shinobu at level 90, what constellations at C6, not having Xingqiu built, it's wasteful to say the least, right? So I think building up Xingqiu and farming some more emblem pieces, and you see, this is when we have to consider, okay, with the amazing banners we are getting next patch, what should this account focus on, right? So you have Xingqiu, you don't have Yelan. You could go for a Hu Tao team, but here's the thing. The problem I think Hu Tao is not suited for this account is, who does Hu Tao compete with on this account, right? And it's difficult to create a secondary team with Hu Tao because Zhongli likely will always want to stay with Ito. Are you ever going to peel Zhongli away from this team to pair with your Hu Tao over your Ito? Very, very unlikely, especially with a C6 Ito. This team is solidified. You should not be ever building a team comp that requires any one of these units if you know what's good for you, right? Like you want to peel away your C6 R1 Ito's best units to build a subpar team. That's very, very foolish in most cases. Now, that leaves you for other strong vertical progression teams, such as Raiden Hypercarry. You can invest into Raiden Cons eventually and build up with a C6 Sara with a Kazuo for Raiden Hypercarry on one side and Ito Hypercarry on the other side. Or you can build Raiden variants teams, or you can build Dendro teams. Dendro teams are well known for their insane scaling through reactions without having to pump as much resources into the characters. Now, I feel like you've already pumped so much resource into Ito that this team likely is very mature. So looking at the stats, is 70 to 266, right? It's a very mature team already. So resources that are going into this team at this point are just giving you diminishing returns. We should be focusing on either Dendro teams or Raiden teams. I really would like to see you build up Xingqiu, because Xingqiu can be a key component temporarily even in Dendro meta teams, or it can be completing your Raiden national team. Raiden Hypercarry teams would require Kujo-Sara and a Viridescence user, which you also have the character, but you don't have her as C6, so it's going to take some time to build up. In the moment, that's why immediately when I looked at this account, and you have him at C6, building up Xingqiu and likely skipping Hu Tao to pull for Yelan will generally help your account scale up much better, much faster. Tighnari, you likely don't have a need for Alhaitham. Now, unless Alhaitham is your guy, the kind of character that you want to play, you can pull him. I say it's very smart that you haven't built up Tignari, because if you already have a level 90 Tignari and then you're pulling a Hytham, that's very counterproductive. You have him at level 1, so you haven't done anything, you haven't dumped any resources into him, so getting an Hytham, you can justify putting resources into him because likely he'll be a better version of Tignari, and building up your Xingqiu, and likely, I think, over Kutasara is you should be building, where is she? I saw her earlier, your official, was it? Oh, sorry, right here. I think you should be building Xingqiu followed by Fischl, and you'll have a great Dendro-centric team with either Tignari or Alhaitham. And since your Raiden is already built, you also, by building up Xingqiu, have a great Raiden national team to work around. Artifacts you should be focusing on will be the emblem set for sure, because apart from Xingqiu, characters like, Xiangling also uses the emblem set, and because Xiangling and Xingqiu, you might find them in the same team at times, I don't think you should share artifacts with them. Okay, you have Kuki Shinobu build up, so building up Tignari is also a smart move. So I would say Xingqiu into Fischl into Tignari, or Xingqiu into Tignari into Fischl, depending on which team comps you want to slide yourself towards in the future. As for weapons, let's take a look at what weapon you're running for Zhongli. Very smart, Favonius, right? This is obvious. Favonius, Redhorn, Freedom Sworn. Wow. You got the Amos bow. I mean, all your 5-star characters seems very well kitted. As for the weapon banner, I think it'd be also very not smart to skip the Hu Tao and Yelan weapon banner. I think you should try to go for the bow for this account. Just generally looking at your account, I just don't see that many spear characters that can... I mean, you can pull the spear for Xiangling, but look at the catch at R5 for Xiangling. Pulling a Staff of Homa for her, yeah, it's a good weapon to have, but like I said, you're never going to use Hu Tao unless you absolutely love her. See, this is the problem. You are likely never going to fit Hu Tao into one of your rotations, because not only does Hu Tao compete with Ito as a DPS, Hu Tao also likely wants Zhongli, right? Like this is the thing. That's why Hu Tao essentially has been kicked from possible meta characters that you likely will build, unless you like her. If you like her, but then remember, you're likely going to have to pair a subpar Ito team by giving up Zhongli to Hu Tao, and Hu Tao will also be taking away Xingqiu as well as Yelan if you do eventually pull her. Also, I think it's probably generally better for you to invest into Yelan as well as her weapon. That's if you are planning to pull. I think that would be the smarter approach to go for it. If you are wanting to build a Hytham, pulling a Hytham is not a bad choice either. Likely you're not going to pull Zhao because there's no Fado Zen, right? Yeah, you don't have Fado Zen, so yeah, just skip Zhao altogether. That's all I gotta say for this account. So yeah, people, if you are looking to build up your account, just slowly follow through that process. What are the key characters, right? We've noticed the key characters were Raiden Shogun. We noticed that Kuki Shinobu is a very, very key unit that's been built up. You have Tignari. You also have C6 Xingqiu. You have a C5 Sara. You have a C6 Fischl. All sitting around. I think these are really good characters to slowly pivot your account towards, to make your account even better, more well-rounded, and slowly elevate it on all fronts. Very good account, I would say, for a Welcome player. It takes a lot of gut to invest into one character C6. As I mentioned, if you're a low spender or a Welcome player, invest into a C6 character can be a huge risk at time, because sometimes you have this team just locked out all together. You just can't really use it, not just because immunity, but certain utilities or mechanics of enemies deem it that the Geo, like a mono Geo team, just isn't equipped to deal with the threat. But always you can flex them into another side of the abyss, another part of the chamber, but then you're gonna have to have another team ready to deal with the threat that is, let's say, abyss lectors that have certain unique shields. I'm pretty sure in the future they're going to release all sorts of monsters that counter certain elements and force you to build different team comps to overcome the issues. Right now, the glaring issue is not having a strong Hydro applicator or DPS being built. Having Xingqiu as C6 at level 20, it's definitely something that needs to be fixed going forward. Like I said, Final verdict, build Xingqiu, pull Yalan, get her weapon if you have the resources, or just pull Yalan and skip her weapon, skip the Hu Tao weapon. That's going to be it, but it's a very good account. Hope this has helped some people, and chat may or may not agree with me. I haven't really been looking at them, but after this video, I'll be conversing with chat. Make sure to see in the comments down below what else you can do for your account. This is a very generalized, streamlined way to see how you can power up your account. Okay, till next time, urge you all to stay safe. Peace, bye bye.